So I'll start with creating a sales order. So I'm a trading organization. I receive a sales order from a customer. Uh, so I will go and make a sales order. So let me select one customer, Ashish Industry. Let's say he's a customer. He places an order today. He needs a delivery by 31st August, and his purchase order number is, I'm just putting it, placed 123. He needs, so I am a spice trader, so he needs coriander by 31st. He needs in a quantity of 10,000 kg. I'm putting a rate as 160. I would be adding one more product, uh, daily sleeves, daily sleeves. He will be needing 5,000 quantity at 55 rate. Then the tax is applicable, so he is in state GST of 5%. So it has, so here ERPNest has a capability of configuring the text template. So accordingly, I have configured this text template where, as per Indian GST norms, it is capturing SGST and CGST at 2.5% each. Then once I submit, this is the sales order I'm submitting. Okay. So maybe I'll, to avoid that error, I'll reduce the quantity bit. So that was not cross. Okay, so my sales order is submitted. If I have a stock already in my inventory, I can directly do a delivery here. So I'll do a part delivery here. From the sales order itself, I can make a delivery. So here the yellow shows I have the quantity in my go down, but let me just make half 50% of the. So when I deliver, so earlier it was showing yellow here. So yellow means it needed 6,000, which I did not hold in my go down. That's why it was showing yellow. When I made it 3, it is now showing green. So that is the stock available. So if I keep 6 and try to put the inventory, also I can have, so if it is a food product, I can have an inspection as a requirement to the product. So I have configured for the daily seeds as the inspection requirement. So before I do a delivery, I have to put the inspection report and then attach it to the main document. So I will do a new inspection, quality inspection report here. This is outgoing inspection item code. This is so, okay. The sample size, I'm saying 10 as a sample size. And then parameter, I'll just quickly move forward. Yeah, so I have attached it, and now I'm trying to do my delivery, but it says I do not have a quantity of coriander. 12,000 units are lacking, so I'll do the part delivery now for the coriander. So what I'm trying to basically show is it has a control mechanism inbuilt where all the workflows of the stock management, the inventory tracking could be easily built in, and it allows an organization to function uh, efficiently. So I'm currently delivering 3,000 and 3,000 as both the quantities. So my delivery is submitted. I can view my delivery. I can, from here, if I want to see my stock register, I can see my stock register. What is the stock of the particular quantity? where it is lying, and I can review my details of the stock. So it shows the stock register entry of this particular transaction. Uh, from here, I can print this document of the delivery challan and send it to my transporter to deliver it. Also, if you notice, it has a capability to capture the images of the product. So especially this is useful when uh, we are dealing with countries where the language barrier is there. For example, in China, if you want to procure something or if you are selling something, so maybe the language is not easily recognizable. So an image on each of the document in your purchase document, in your sales document, could be very handy. Now I'll based on this, what I will do is I will go and since I do not have enough quantity, I will go and buy some quantity. So I will now go to my buying module and I will do a material request. So uh, so I will get item from my sales order. So if you noticed, I had a sales order for 10 uh, higher quantity, but I did not had a material. So today I raised on this the sales order number 8 is the one which we just raised. So I will get certain quantity which is I haven't delivered, pull it from here, I will get item from. So if you notice, I'll get all the items 6,000 and 5,000, but I have delivered part of it. So I don't want to buy the entire, or I can buy it the full quantity based on, so my uh, go down get replenished. So I this is a material request I'm raising. Required date, so since I have to deliver on 31st of August, I need this from by 25th on my go down. I can then capture other information, more information like the transaction date, terms and condition. Here, if I want to, which warehouse I want to track, so each item wise I can track where my product would be stored. So here I have a store as one warehouse, but it could be multiple warehouse in location wise. Uh, and from the stock module, those reports would be generated. So I'm now submitting the material request. So once I submit the material request, my procurement team will get the indication that there is a request for material. Now, since I have logged in only as an administrator, I have all the rights to easily show, but we can have the segregation of duties based on different functions where different people are divided with their duties. So the material request is raised by the stock person. Now the procurement person will get the notification of uh, one material request shown to him. So he can then use that material request and procure a material by making a purchase order on it. So he raises a purchase order based on the material request raised by the stock person. So I'm making, so I can then let me buy from Lloyd Corporation. So I'm buying from Lloyd Corporation based on the sales order. I need coriander 6,000 quantity. If I have a specific packing condition, um, bag of 25 kg each, or for this, if I have a requirement of say a jute bag, I can put those conditions. I can put my prices as per my purchase order. So, so here also, if say, let's say I'm buying it from some other state, I would say out of state 5% to capture the GST on the amount, and I will place my purchase order. Now I can send it my purchase order within from the system, so I do not have to download a document and then send it. I can do it from within the system if I have configured my email. From time being, I'll just skip this step. So here my purchase order is received. Once my purchase order is placed, the supplier accepts it. he will deliver me the goods. So when I get the goods on my godown, I will have to do the receipt of the goods. So first I will do the receipt of the goods. So now the next step I'm following. So I'm basically going to this workflow of which I mentioned. So I first did the sales order, then from the sales order I did the material request, from which I placed purchase order. Now based on the purchase order, I'm receiving the material in my godown. So I am receiving the material in my godown from the Lloyd customer. This is new purchase receipt. I have received 6,000 quantity and 5,500 as a quantity, uh, which I am, let's say I do not get full quantity, I just get 5,500, 500 kg less. And here I get 4,500 the quantity. So I will just record that. And so again, it has, as I said, it has a quality inspection which I have set up for one particular product. So in while it is coming into the godown or moving out of the godown, it has a quality inspection because of its the inherent nature of that product. What I'll do is I will attach the same quality inspection which I had earlier, just for the demo purpose. But every time a new quality document would be created by quality person, which would be attached, and then a transaction will follow further. Now I have received, which I'm submitting. So it now, if you notice here, uh, the cycle of the document, earlier when I created, it was showing to receive and bill. Now it has moved and it says to bill. So now I will receive a purchase bill from the supplier for the goods received. Now I will book his invoice on it. Now I will receive a purchase invoice. I can this is purchase invoice. I have received this quantity. The quantity showing as green, so I have the plus quantity in my godown. This is the same detail which was there. I will submit it. So this is a purchase invoice entry I'm making in the system. Now it is currently showing unpaid. I can make payment out of this document here. So I will make full payment from here. Uh, Full payment from here, payment amount. I will attach full payment and make the payment. Reference number of the bank transaction is needed. So here I'll put 653.31 for the reference, and I've paid it. And let's say tomorrow. I'm just passing them. So this shows the purchase cycle, payment entry. So the entire transaction is done. Now I'll go back to my selling module. I have a sales order. Now I have the additional quantity. So if I go to the Ashish Industries, the sales order number 8, if I noticed here, it so if I want to see all the link document to this particular document, I can click on link and it will show me the other delivery documents. Yeah, so any document, if I go, I can see which are the other link document it is connected to. So here, the purchase order which we just raised, we got 90% of the goods, so it is showing the status as 90%. Here we have delivered part of the material, so let me try now delivering the remaining part of the material. So I will make delivery out of it. So if I make a delivery, if you notice, it is showing now the remaining quantity. Initially I supplied the 3,000, now 3,000 is remaining, and the 1,000 quantity. And so earlier I ordered, the sales order was for 6,000 kgs for coriander, and for daily seed it was for 5,000, but I have delivered 3,000 at each level. So this is the remaining quantity which I have to do. So one does not have to remember, the system automatically helps it remember. So I'm making a delivery for the second lot. Again, the same inspection it is asking. So let me just tag my inspection in the quality. So the new quality inspection, simple size, I'm taking a 20 kg. And then I can have the parameters of inspection could be color. So I can acceptable criteria, reading criteria, first reading, second reading. So as I define, it should be, let's say, black. And my first reading, it's black, light black. Or it could be parameter, it could be moisture level. It could be any inspection parameter, depends on the product type. So inspection type I have to select is outgoing. So I'm submitting my delivery, second delivery. So my delivery is done. I have completed 100% of the delivery. Now my sales order has moved. Sales order has, if I go to my selling module, my sales order is now has changed to the status to deliver and bill. Deliver 100%. Yeah. So this is the 8 sales order number 8 which we just created, and we have completed the delivery. So now it is the status has moved changed to bill. Now from here I can make my sales invoice to my customer. So I will make sales invoice. Everything is fine. I have delivered full quantity which was requested, 6,000, 5,000, same rate. Everything remains same. So let me just make the sales invoice. Again, same, I can send my sales invoice from within the system. I do not have to download a document and email it. Once the sales invoice is created, it shows the status is unpaid. From when I receive a payment on this sales invoice, I can make a payment on it. So I will receive payment then. If you notice, there is another option which shows if, let's say, a payment is delayed, or I have to make a payment request. So an email reminder could be sent from here, from payment request, by putting some information. The message which I need to send, I can customize as per my need. So I will make a payment request. Let's assume the payment of this particular invoice is received 50%. So I'm making a payment invoice entry. So it is for 12 lakhs. Let me just make it, the 10 lakhs is what I have received. Yes, so make it 10 lakhs. Okay, reference number of the payment. So document 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And payment I received is 9. So it moves to the accounts module where the payment is received. If I go to the my selling module, and in my sales order, so these are few of the filters which are here, which basically help me easily track the different documents, and I don't have to struggle. So I could add several filters here, and this is which I will just see the documents which are relevant to me. So the order is completed. I have already raised a sales invoice on it. And if you see the sales invoices, it shows sales invoice. If I go to my accounting ledger for this particular transaction, I can see it, how the entries have been posted into my accounts, and it will reflect. So from the same documents, there are several links being created where this invoice is still showing unpaid because I haven't received full payment yet. When I receive the full payment, it will uh, change it to paid. When I click on the link document from the menu, it shows all the link document here. So this is just a demo in terms of flexibility of an easy to use, user friendly, same look and feel, and the modern look of the ERP next. Uh, the same transaction, if I want to see on P&L level, I can go to P&L statement, and then I can do the transaction. It has a graph inbuilt where it shows a graph of the transactions. The other financial statement from their balance sheet, P&L, cash flow could also be seen. Monthly cost center wise, the way I want to see, I can see. So the transaction which we just posted, let me just move to the August month. So if you see the August month, uh, it has, it shows the transaction here from the August month. My additionally, one more thing. Additionally, there is reporting capability. So let me just show you the last point on the reporting capability. So if let's say I want to see any transaction, so let's say I go to buying module, and in my buying module I have purchase orders. So there are a lot of purchase order I would uh, collect. If I need to see certain specific details of those purchase order, then I can go to the report builder, and all the fields which are captured, I can then pick and choose the columns which I need. I can go and pick and choose the column which I need: percentage billed, received, status. These are all the columns which are there in the main document, and then accordingly, let's say I want to add customer. It is already there, but let me just say customer. If something is captured, and I can customize those report, save it. I can put filters and save this document for my reporting requirement. So if I have a specific requirement of looking at particular cost center wise profitability or cost center wise purchase order, then I can um, make the report builder, save a report for myself, and then can view the information. So I think this is what I wanted to show on the demo version. Uh, Nehul, do you want me to share the service organization as well, or?
No, I think it is fine. You just share this document which is on the screen right now so that we can share to all the attendees.
Yeah. Okay. So let me go to the next second scenario which we wanted to cover is the service organization, where one has a project, then there are certain tasks which one creates, on which there is a timesheet and the expense booking of the uh, users happen. So let me show that now. Okay, so there is a project module. If I go to a project module, I can create a project there. So let me create one project here. So I will create project, let's say ERP next implementation is one project. This is one project. I have opened it. Expected date of completion, I'm putting as September 30th. If I open it, it will open the entire document where I can then further classify in terms of it is external project, internal project, other, or I can define some other categorization as I need. The expected start date, let me put it as I'll starting from next Monday, so that's 13th. I'm starting. Expected date of completion is the end of next month. Um, Based on percentage completion, how I want to ensure the completion. Is it based on task of completion, task progress, or is it based on use the billing? If it is for a particular customer and there is a sales order available, I can tag a sales order. Then for this particular project, if I have to assign several users, I can assign them. So here I just created one user, so I'm assigning him for time being. Uh, then under this particular project, I can create several tasks. So I'm creating tasks like requirement gathering is one, my first task. I'm saying it will start from next Monday and then going till the end of week. Then I will say uh, process documentation is my next task. So I will say it will start from the next week Monday and going till the end of the week. Then I will have it's a prototype, POC, proof of concept, prototype, demo, demo, which will then start next week and end of the month. And then I will have implementation implementation of key modules, which will start from the next month and go on till middle of the month. That's it. Then we have training for users, training for users, which will start from 18th till to go till 25th. Then we have the sign off meeting, which will be from 27th till 30th September. So it will sign off process will be from 26th to 30th. So these are my tasks which I have created. I can put certain weightage of those tasks in terms of percentage, so that I can track. I can put more description of what this task is. So once these tasks are created, then if I want to put additional notes, there are certain documents which are exchanged. I could attach those documents. I can put costing and billing of this project, expected cost, the default cost center, and then I save the document. So this is the first project I have created. When I create the project, here I have the facility to assign it to several users. And if I have a document, so let me just for time being, I attach one document. So the same slide deck which we're using, the Gartner slide which we just saw, let me just attach that image as a sample. So I'm attaching several documents. This could be visible to anybody accessing this project. Now this project hasn't started. Now either I can assign the entire project to a user, or I can assign it to one task to a particular user. So this is, it needs to be completed by next September. So I can assign this project. Well, let me see to the description. Okay, this is Okay, I have assigned it. I'm submitting the project. So the project has now started. The project is open now. It is assigned to one user MK, under which I have several tasks. So as a project is a module, under project there is a sub module called task. So different tasks are there, which are attached to a project. Now let's say the requirement gathering I want to attach. So let me just create one more user here. So I will go to user list, create one more user. I'll just create Mehul as another user. So new user. So let me just create Mehul at pmh.in. Mehul pmh. Let me just, okay, just, there are a lot of other details I can capture as part of the user creation. So as of now, Mehul is just a website user. I will let me give him some rights now as a project user as well. So all these details are there. I can capture more details. I will now, for time being, give him access only to project module. So these are all what you see is the different roles and permission uh, for segregation of duty for different users. So I will assign in project user and project manager two rights, and I will say, so once, when the first time when a user gets created, it becomes a website user, and then when the module access is given, it becomes the system user. Uh, Now I will go back to my task list. I'll go to my project module under which I have a task. Now, another beauty is I don't have to navigate to different modules if I have different responsibility. I can simply come to this search bar and search for what I need. So if I search for task, it will show task list. So if I can click on task list. Here is the requirement gathering task. This requirement gathering task I want to assign it to Mehul. So I will, as a project manager, I will assign it to Mehul. I will put certain details, requirement gathering to be initiated by you. Yeah, so I'll just say that I will say you have to finish this. It starts next Monday. I'll say finish it by 17th. I will just add, if there are certain documentation exchange I have to do, I can do it. I, based on this, I can put my time, expected time completion. So I would say 15 hours expected time it will take. So other details if I want to capture. If this task has a further subtask, then further subtasks could be created. Talking to customer, documenting, getting approval. So the subtask also could be created. Now this task I am submitting. Now when Mehul logs in, Mehul will see this task as part of his to-do list, and when he completes, he can put it the number of progress. So maybe let's say if he puts 50% as a progress, when he clicks, he can submit this task, and accordingly, basically the project. Uh, so the first task we have just started, uh, and it is 50% completed. Let me just complete some of the tasks. Let me put it as 100% and show it the progress of the project. Let's assume that this uh, task is completed fully. Everything is done, and I'm submitting it. Still shows open. Expected date of okay. Open. Expected start date. It is not allowing because the expected start date and finish date is start is, let me put start date today, unexpected date also. Let me just change it as 10 to set the last submit. Okay, I have to change. I will change. So this status, let's assume this is done. So I'm saying the task, so I can accordingly change the task status to open working overdue. So let me put requirement gathering task as a closed task. This has finished. So it has changed now to yellow as the task completed. Let me change. Let's say the user, the another user who was assigned the process document, he is working in the working stage. So I can put it as working, and the expected time was initially assigned as 20, and he has finished, let's assume 50%, and he submits it. So as a project manager, project manager can uh, monitor, put the timing, and monitor the budget. So if you notice one task is completed, that's why out of those five, uh, it is showing 60% of the completed as a project scope, and one can monitor it. Let me see what are the things I wanted to capture. So project creation I've shown, task list and allocation of the task to users, timesheet. Okay, show timesheet. Now, so this is one task. Let me go to the timesheet where the user Mehul, who has completed the requirement gathering, he will fill in his timesheet, which will attach to the project. So I'm going to the timesheet where the new timesheet Mehul is making. So Mehul is going to his login, he's clicking on the timesheet. Uh, he is now listing the activities. So he is saying communication as the first he did. He did it today for 5 hours. He did it for the project ERP next implementation. Whether it is billable project or non-billable, he can accordingly select it. Billable project, then he can say he did research for some projects. So research he did it today for 2 hours for the same project, but not billable. He can then say, we can write an activity saying execution of the requirement gathering. He did it today for 1 hour, which is billable. So this is a timesheet of 8 hours he wants to fill in for today. He can fill it timesheet for several days together as well. So if I'll just add, so 10 hours I have to complete. So let me put now proposal writing. So these activities could be defined, basically whatever I need. So planning is something which he did yesterday for 3 hours, which is, let's assume, non-billable. The total 11 hours timesheet he wants to fill in. He completes the timesheet, he attaches it and submits it. Now, as I told you while on the deck, I was running a deck that a workflow mechanism could be built where the user submits a timesheet and his manager approves the timesheet before it gets locked into the system. That kind of workflow could be built. So here he has submitted the timesheet. Now, since there was available time here 5 hours and 1 hour, and the rate of these activities for Mehul, if defined in the system, I can make a sales invoice from here itself. So since I don't have any service product, I will just skip this step. But if I have defined, let's say, billable service item, I can make a sales invoice from here. Now, if I go to my project, I will see the link time sheets attached to this particular project. So I can see here total time blocked onto this project as activity summary. I'll see 11 hours have been booked, communication 5 hours, 3 hours, etc. If I want to see which are these time sheets, I can just click it here and I will go to the connected timesheet rows of which user has how much booked the timesheet. Similarly, one can book a expense claim onto a project. To make a new expense claim, so I'm selecting expense claim. Expense claim has been submitted by Manjur. Expense date, let's say 8. Expense claim for expense claim for travel. Description, okay. Default expense type, account. I will just select the default expense type. From the chart of account, I have to default expense type here. So travel expenses by default. Yeah, so here is the travel. I'm just writing local travel. Claim amount, let's then put as 1,000 rupees. Sanction amount is also 1,000. I can put it. Let me put another for yesterday. This was for medical, say, issue. Into part of the office expenses. Office expenses. I'm just time being putting into utility expenses, but it could be changed from the ledger chart of account. So I'm just putting it part of utility expenses just to move forward. The amount is 2,000 rupees. And the sanction amount is, let's say, 1,500 only. That's my limit per day. From employee. Okay, so I haven't created a user. It's an employee. So the expense claim could be submitted by a user. So that user MK as an employee as well. User ID is MK. I'm sorry, I did not have a user on my profile, so I created a user now. So I will see employee. So this user is submitting against this project, so I can select. So as of now, I have on this instance, it was more a trading instance, so I haven't created several projects, but I will see the list of projects which I have created. So the project which we created for this demo version was the ERP Next project. I can assign it to which particular task this particular project expense should get booked. So since Manjur MK was assigned to the requirement gathering, so he can assign that to a task, and where the other payable accounts cost center it should go. If there is an advance payment, I can then put a detail of that here. Then I submit the expense claims. Approval must approve or reject. Pending for approval only in expense approval. And so expense claim is now here, which then it is in the draft stage. expense claim list. Okay, here I have to change. So let me change the approval as an administrator. Okay, so when the user submits his expenses, he can select the approval also. Since I am making all the documents via administrator, I'm not switching to the users. But when the MK submits the document as an administrator, the administrator, when he logs into his expense claim, he will see that pending for approval. From administrator login, I'm now approving the transaction and putting a submit. So once I submit the document, it will then move to my project. So it is now submitted. It is showing in the unpaid state, which then the finance can make payment of it. So let's just make the payment of it. It is asking for the reference and the bank transaction. 1, 2, we paid it tomorrow. Fine. And he is submitting now the expense. The finance team is now paying, so the payment is done. So it is now showing the the payment is done. Now I'm going to my project to see what is the situation of my project, how many tasks are completed, uh, is there any, what is the time book. So as a project manager, if I go, I'll see the timesheet booked on my project, and I can see in my costing and billing the total expense claim. I can see the other cost, the total sales billing which I have done via sales order. So this is the way I can monitor my projects and billings. I think this is it for today's webinar. If you have any question, I'm happy to answer that. Mehul?
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, Mehul.
Yeah. So I think we can close it now. We'll be sharing the document with all the attendees.
Pardon me?
Hello.
Yeah, pardon me, I didn't get you.
So I said we can. I think this is all for today. We'll share this document with all the attendees.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.